Simon, Peter, thanks for coming.
Yeah,
you're welcome.
Good to be here.
Sky TV are looking for a new vehicle for Ross Kemp, and they've asked us to come up with something.
Right.
As you well know, Ross is a hard man. So
he's a stock hard man, isn't he, really? Yeah.
Well, previously they've had him out in Afghanistan doing a documentary about pirates and urban gangs, so they want us to come up with something similar.
Yeah.
One of the considerations is a documentary about pit bull fighting.
Right.
Now, the ad break idents could run a sequence where Ross puts his head in the mouth of a pit bull, takes it out, and then turns to camera and looks really hard.
Like he does.
It's a good idea.
Yeah.
I could see that working. Yeah. See, it's got quite a big head, of course. So you need to be a pit bull with quite a big mouth to.
Well, the researchers are looking into the span that a pit bull can open its mouth.
Yeah, I think that would be a good idea.
Yeah.
What about the idea of him having like a bush baby under his arm?
Simon, with all due respect, this is Ross Kemp.
Yeah.
Hard man.
Yeah, he's a hard man, but I mean, if he sort of showed this slightly other side, he could still do his kind of look at the camera, looking really hard. But at the same time, he's got this little cuddly creature under his arm.
Ross is more your snakes and tigers sort of guy. We can't have him gallivanting about the country cuddling bush babies. Unless, like you say, he has the bush baby under his arm, turns to camera, gives it a really hard stare.
Yeah,
and the sort of emphasis here being is, Ross Kemp, the hard man's got a bush baby under his arm. And he's not crushed it.
Yeah. Unless he throttled it or... like broke its neck or something like that. Yeah.
What kind of sound would that?
There'd be a kind of crunch sound.
Yeah.
A crunch of broken bone as it's
we
a
can go with
brittle
that.
bone of the.
Yeah.
And then it falls to the ground, and he gives that kind of knowing smile. Yeah.
Well, we'll put it down as one of the considerations, and I'll put it through research to see what sound the bones of a bush baby would make, sort of thing. And,
or any other cuddly animal of that ilk.
Yeah.
I would have thought.
One of the other considerations is a documentary about volcanoes. Now, again, the ad break idents could run a sequence where Ross is stood on the mouth of a volcano.
Yeah.
He turns to camera, and this time his skin's all molten, maybe swinging from his chin, sort of thing.
Yeah.
But he still gives the camera a really hard stare.
Yeah.
And ultimately, I think we're going to get a sort of Freddy Krueger moment, and it's going to make him look even harder.
Yeah, maybe you should wear a red and black striped jersey and a little pork pie hat as well to Ross.
It's certainly a good way of milking it.
Yeah.
It certainly is. What about him in? You was talking about this koala bear before. What about him with a koala bear in Afghanistan?
In
the battlefield up front, sort of thing.
Koala bear in Afghanistan. That's something you don't often see.
Yeah.
You don't often see glove puppets in Afghanistan. How about? Because I always thought that he looks a bit like Nucky Bear. Maybe you could do something with Roger de Courcy and Nucky Bear. They could go to Afghanistan, or you could even send. You could do a series of glove puppets and various puppets in Afghanistan with a different
on the front line.
Featured. You could have like Orville, something like that. Orville in Afghanistan trying to talk Osama bin Laden or whatever down from the mountains.
Yeah.
He could make a public address on the TV.
Yeah.
And request that come on as in that voice. Come on, Osama, calm down. Like where you could have Keith grinning in the background, or you could take Bernie Clifton with his ostrich into the streets of Basra or something like that, wielding a submachine gun, shooting down all the locals.
I think Orville's going to look fabulous with an automatic submachine gun.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
As long as Bernie's got and the ostrich are wearing helmets.
Yeah.
And then he just comes in, and Bernie could be like, doing that silly run that he does, and just Bernie could just, he could sort of be there grinning inanely, running through the streets with the ostrich, gunning people down and grinning inanely.
Make great TV.
It would make great TV.
It's a good idea, Simon, but Sky are really trying to go with the hard man thing. So the Nucky Bear, I don't know if they're going to run with it. Really,
but if all these people with the glove puppets are creating violence, let's say Sweep with a handgun, just goes into a local store in Basra or somewhere like that and just shoots somebody, would that not be hard? And then especially if Russ was kind of like hosting the whole series and he was like interviewing Keith Harris and Bernie Clifton and people like that, and then he was following them around while they went on this crazy mayhem sort of scenes.
I know it's difficult with all the hard things he's done. How about a documentary about ram raiding?
Yeah, Glasgow maybe.
We could film Ross over a period of 6 weeks, going around with a gang of ram raiders. Maybe he could actually assist them, use his bulbous head as a baton on the steel shutters of
His
shops.
skull's pretty thick, isn't it?
I would imagine, yeah. Regardless of his Nucky Bear image. And the ad break idents could run a sequence where Ross is holding various items of grocery. He's got eggs under his arms.
Yeah.
He hasn't crushed them. Our White's lemonade, etc. He turns to camera and he looks really hard.